There is a quiet lie many men tell themselves about marriage. They believe that if it ever ends, it will be obvious. There will be shouting. There will be dramatic fights, doors slammed, words that cannot be taken back. But the truth is far more subtle. Most marriages do not collapse in a single moment. They erode, slowly, quietly, almost politely. And many husbands don't notice the shift until the distance has already grown too wide to cross. Because marriage rarely breaks overnight. It breaks in patterns, small moments that seem harmless on their own, but together tell a story many men miss. Tonight, we'll talk about those warning signs, not with anger, not with blame, but with clarity. The first sign: conversations become functional. In the early years, couples talk about everything: dreams, fears, little observations about the day. But when a marriage begins to fade, conversation changes. It becomes logistical. Did you pay the bill? What time are you picking up the kids? What do you want for dinner? Everything works, but nothing connects. Two people are speaking, but they are no longer sharing themselves. And many men tell themselves this is normal. After all, life becomes busy. But emotional silence is rarely just busyness. Often, it is the first distance. The second sign: appreciation slowly disappears. Respect in marriage is rarely lost in a single fight. It fades in the absence of appreciation. The husband continues to provide. He works. He solves problems. He carries responsibility. But over time, those efforts stop being seen. Not out of cruelty, but out of familiarity. And when appreciation disappears, something subtle happens inside a man. He begins to feel replaceable. Not unloved, just unnoticed. And unnoticed men slowly withdraw, not loudly, quietly. The third sign: conflict is replaced by indifference. Many men believe that arguments are the danger, but indifference is far more dangerous. Arguments mean two people still care enough to react. Indifference means emotional investment has already started to leave the room. When conversations that once mattered now receive only shrugs. When questions are answered with one word. When silence replaces curiosity. That is not peace. That is distance. The fourth sign: respect changes in small moments. Respect rarely vanishes dramatically. It shifts in tone. A sarcastic comment here, a dismissive look there. Interruptions, small corrections in front of others. Nothing explosive, but enough to change how a man feels in his own home. And the hardest part? Many men convince themselves to tolerate it, because they believe endurance is strength. But quiet resentment grows in the places where respect once lived. The fifth sign: the husband stops sharing his inner world. At first, he talks about stress, about work, about things that bother him. But when he feels unheard enough times, he stops trying. Not because he doesn't care, but because vulnerability without safety becomes exhausting. And so he keeps his thoughts to himself. He becomes quieter, more self-contained. To outsiders, he may appear calm, but internally, he is slowly separating. The sixth sign: effort stops being mutual. Marriage works when effort moves in both directions, but sometimes it begins to tilt. One person continues trying to improve things, while the other assumes stability is guaranteed. And when effort becomes one-sided, something inside the man changes. He begins to question not just the relationship, but his place within it. The final sign: emotional distance feels normal. This is the most dangerous stage, because by now, the silence feels ordinary. The distance feels routine. Two people can sit in the same room and feel miles apart. No hatred, no dramatic conflict, just absence. And this is when many men look back and realize something painful. The marriage didn't collapse yesterday. It slowly unraveled over years, one small moment at a time. But here is the part most people never say. Awareness is not the end of a marriage. Sometimes it is the beginning of rebuilding it. Because once you can see the patterns clearly, you can choose differently. You can speak honestly. You can rebuild respect. You can reconnect intentionally. Or, if necessary, you can reclaim your own peace. But the first step is always the same: seeing the truth without fear. Marriage rarely fails overnight, but clarity can arrive in a single moment. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments, which of these warning signs do you think couples overlook the most?